Hey guys, this is Saidiella for Saidiella Smashing Tips. Uh, what we're going to look at today is a quick video on restealing and 3-betting light. Alright, so what's a resteal? A resteal is when you re-raise a steal, which is essentially a raise from the cutoff, button, or small blind in an unopened pot. Alright, so what I want to talk about really quickly is punishing exploitable players in this spot. So when the opener's stealing range is loose and he folds to a 3-bet, essentially re-raise, often we can be exploiting him. For example, action folds to a villain on the button and he raises a steal. It folds around to you in the big blind and you look down at an ace-5 off. So normally this is not a hand that we're excited to see, but we take a look at his fold to resteal stat, and we see that he is folding about 80% of the time, which is a lot. So let's say we're playing 200 NL. The blinds are $1 and $2. The villain steals for 6, so that makes the pot 9, and we decide to resteal for $18. So our $2 big blind plus another 16. So we're wagering $16 to win 9. So the way the math works out is we have to take our wager, our bet, which is $16, and divide that by our bet plus what's in the pot already. So that works out to be 64. So that means that if the villain folds more than 64% of the time to a resteal, we are making instant profit. So if you're using Hold'em Manager or if you're using Poker Tracker, this is a good stat to have because a lot of people are stealing these days way too much or not enough in micro stakes, and we can be exploiting the players that are stealing a lot. So definitely think about putting that on your HUD. I want to pull up a couple of examples for you guys right now and show you exactly what I'm talking about using some of the situations I've been in. So we'll reset this right here. All right. So we're in the big blind with ace-5 suited, and we're at a 5-ring table. It gets open from the cutoff to a little over 3 times the big blind. It gets folded around to us in the button, or in the big blind, sorry. And we take a look at his steal percent, which is 34%. Now, I mean, this is not an overly high stat. Um, a lot of people are resealing a lot more than 34%, and rightly so. But this blue number right here, this number 80, this shows how much he actually folds to a resteal. So obviously this number is bigger than 64%, and the numbers are a little askew because he raised a little bigger than he would have, but the math is basically the same. So anything over 64, 65%, we're making instant profit. So we go ahead and decide to 3-bet him here because he just folds so often, and we take down a pot. So I'm going to hollow up another example here just in a second. Um, it's good to explore and start to try using new stats. Just because, you're not familiar with a stat, don't be scared of it. A lot of people start off with obviously the basics like the VPIP and the PFR, the aggression factor, things of that nature. But a lot of these stats are really useful, and depending on the stakes, um, they can be really profitable. And I think for micro stakes, this resteal stat is definitely one of them. So let's take a look at another example here. All right, so this time we're in the big blind again. We have King 9 off. Not a hand you're really excited to see, and it gets folded around to the button. So he raises twice the size of the big blind, and we take a look at his steal stats. Now, we don't have a huge sample on this guy, only 160-ish hands, but he's still stealing 86%. So, even though the sample size isn't big, we know he is stealing a ton of hands. So it gets folded around to us, and we see that he folds 88% of the time. Sorry about that pop-up, guys. He folds 88% of the time there in uh, that light blue there in the second row, the third number. He folds too much, way too much, to a 3-bet. So we go ahead and we re-steal for about 3 times what he bet, and as we'd hoped, he goes ahead and he folds. And this is a spot where if we're not using this re-steal stat and we're just looking at his, his basic stats, we might call here. I don't know. Some people might fold. It's not really a good fold spot, but definitely re-stealing there gives you instant profit. So it's something that a lot of people should be doing more, and it will definitely improve your game. All right, so last example, A6 in the big blind, it gets folded to the button, which opens for a little under 3x, and we notice that, second row, first number, 73 in red, that he's stealing a decent amount, a lot, more than he should probably. Maybe he's doing it to exploit people, maybe not, but we see that he folds to a re-steal 86% of the time. Easy profit here. We go ahead and bet when it gets folded to us, and yeah, we take it down. And this is something that everyone can add to their game, and this is not just, you know, re-stealing all the time. It's not re-stealing against every player. You're not doing it with every hand. Pick your okay hands that you wouldn't normally feel comfortable playing with, out of position against aggressive players. But I guess the main point is look for people who fold to re-steals because it's really simple to just look at a stat and say, oh well, it's higher than 65%, so I can bet here and increase my win rate. And it might not seem like a lot, but if you pick up a pot here and there, you're not giving away your big blind, and you're also picking up their bet. So I hope this was helpful, and good luck on the felt.